Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinx.
Good morning, Dr. Bati. I see you're looking fresh, and I know why. I hope you had a good birthday yesterday.
Thank you.
Perfect. Good morning, Rufai. How are you?
Good.
Well done.
I see you're fresh, and I know why.
Don't worry. We'll discuss it after the show.
Okay.
Well, you know what we're starting the show with is the dethronement of our chef. Hilda Bashi, the Nigerian chef has reacted to her dethronement as the record holder for the longest cooking marathon. On Tuesday, the Guinness World Record disclosed that Irish chef Alan Fisher cooked for 119 hours and 57 minutes, surpassing Bashi's record of 93 hours and 11 minutes. While reacting to Fisher's feat, Bashi, in a post on X, said she is happy to have held the prestigious record and also congratulated Fisher for his huge achievement. I mean, how graceful is that? But people were saying, this was too fast, Dr. Bashi. Remember when Hilda Bashi came on scene, everyone is trying to do cookathon, marathon, what other ton? Hackathon, and all of that. But guess what, Nigerians? People will defeat you. But I think it's a great achievement that she has, brought Nigeria to the limelight. Regardless, she did very well. But I also heard that Nigerians have been going to this Irishman's page to be insulting him. Please, Nigerians, leave this man alone. He deserves his feet. Quickly.
Anyway, Nigerians would always, find an angle to every subject. But I think, whether there is Alan Fisher now, who is the cooking marathon chief, I think he also achieved another record, baking for over 47 hours. So
I didn't follow his story. I'm not
he achieved two major records at the same time.
Right.
But Hilda Bashi will, for all time, still be our jollof queen in Nigeria.
Yes.
Preparing about 100 dishes, within 4 days, and that was in May. I've had some people say, well, she reigned for just 5 months. No, it's not. It's not about the time within which she remained the cooking champion of the world. It is about the effort and how she has been able to reinvent herself beyond the kitchen. She has been giving cooking lectures. She has been organizing, opportunities for other people. She has been doing a lot of philanthropy. She's been recognized by her state. I think what she has achieved is remarkable, and nobody can take that away from her. Yep. Beyond that, also, is the fact that she has, acted as a good sports person. She was one of the first persons to congratulate Alan Fisher. Maybe tomorrow, Alan Fisher too may be dethroned. The only part of the commentary that I am a bit uncomfortable with is that people are saying, oh, we are happy it's not a Nigerian that dethroned her. Because, in fact, she became a source of inspiration for other persons who also wanted to cook. They've been abusing, I think it's Chef Dami. Chef Dami. People have been saying, oh, thank God it's not Chef Dami.
That wasn't funny at all.
Nigerians should not reduce everything to ethnicity, to rivalry, religious rivalry. No, we're a country of very talented people, whether it's in terms of reading or it's in terms of cooking or it's in terms of singing. And Nigerians are competitive. Absolutely. So Hilda Bashi will always be there, in the record books. And congratulations to Alan Fisher, who we hear owns a restaurant in Japan. Maybe tomorrow another person will take over from him. After all, Hilda Bashi took over from Tata London, the Indian chef. Yes,
Hilda Bashi will always remain our Nigerian record holder. Congratulations to both of them. Well, let's continue on what's trending with the press conference held by presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, on Monday, November 6th, which continues to generate a debate online. Well, Peter Obi, during the question and answer session of the press conference, was asked to make a comment about Labour Party lawmakers receiving sports utility vehicles valued at 160 million naira each. Peter Obi, in response, said the SUVs were not personal cars for the lawmakers, but were procured for official use, generating several reactions.
Let me start with the issue of Labour Party members in the House. I've actually discussed this issue with them. Surprisingly, I can tell you, I heard that these vehicles are official cars. And I don't know, they have to use it. It's meant for official vehicle. So it's not as if it's their vehicle that is meant for official cars and everything. Because we can pay for it and say, listen, if it's your car, you return it or do something. But they said it's official cars. And that everybody is meant to do it. You are meant to use it while you're in the Senate. But you know how things work here. It's not going to be like that. But, so, what I tell people is that it won't be if Labour, if we were in office, nobody would have contemplated such. And that's where we want to go from. Because it is not enough to do the wrong thing and then start correcting it, but it shouldn't even be. Just like people are saying, oh, maybe the issue of Yacht have withdrawn, or this one, it shouldn't even be mentioned in the first place, because it touches the sensibilities of people to do that.
All right, well, Rufai, I felt like it was important to put a little bit of context to this video that was trending. You know, only yesterday there were some, you know, news media houses carrying this story, but it was just a short clip of the video, and it appeared like he was defending the lawmakers. But let me just take this tweet, and I will come back to you. This person who also posted the video on Twitter wrote, "Peter Obi is just a confused hypocrite. He was condemning the purchase of vehicles by NASS. I almost aligned with him on that. Suddenly, a question was thrown at him about LP senators who accepted same. And guess what? Peter Obi was defending why they had to accept the vehicles. It's for official work and not personal." You know, back in October, Rufai, the Labour Party had condemned this purchase or procurement of SUVs. If you recall, Julius Abure had, you know, cautioned the LP lawmakers and told them to actually reject these SUVs in line with the ideology of the Labour Party. Supporters of the Labour Party have come out to say, well, Peter Obi, if you can look at this one tweet, is not against the official use of cars, but against the actual money. What's your take on that?
Pure and simple. And let's say the way it is. I expected Mr. Peter Obi to condemn lawmakers, just like Abure said, and said, reject it. Pure and simple, but he didn't. He said he talked to them about it. They said it's for official use. Heck yeah, we know it's for official use, not for personal use. It's an official vehicle. But let's now extend the conversation about official use. We all know that when you say it's official use, after a certain time, amortization happens. The value goes down, and they resell it for cheap to this individual. So that's why when we ask, where are the cars these lawmakers used 4 years ago? It's nowhere to be found today. So we all know that's not going to last forever. And that's why we're saying, with the tenets at which this Labour Party lawmakers got in there, they must condemn and they must reject for fairness. And that's why I also equate it to the case of the Yacht. We can't be talking about the Yacht and condemning it without condemning the lawmakers, and by extension asking Mr. Peter Obi, which he's the presidential candidate, he's the leader of the party, de facto leader of Labour Party as we speak, to condemn his lawmakers for doing something against the tenant. Most of these people that finally were elected lawmakers, wouldn't have gotten there without the wave of Peter Obi and Labour. So Peter Obi should be able to call them to order. And that's what we're just saying. See, when we're talking about transparency and integrity, it should be across board. In that regard, he didn't condemn them. Yeah, he just said, okay, they said it's for official use. But that's what we are saying, that when we are in power and everything. No, Labour is not the power as we speak. The lawmakers are there. That's why they should be condemned. What I should hear, like Abure, and I think I salute Abure on this. Abure was explicit.
Last month he said that. And I think it's a party thing that they all agreed to
condemn. Abure said we should reject it, and any lawmaker that takes it is against the tenets of the Labour Party. Most of the people that are lawmakers, they were from other political parties. They got in there because of the, if not for Labour Party, most of them they knew they would not be elected. They were rejects from other political parties that found the wave of Labour and used it. So what does Labour stand for? It stands for forthrightness, as Labour claims, and integrity. And they should start by following the way. That's just the pure and simple. So
your angst is that he should have done it openly. Openly
condemn it and say, you know what, I condemn the lawmakers.
He called them and he asked them the questions and they said...
They will give you answers, but I'm saying condemn it. I said, that's not our position. Okay. Pure and simple.
Well, you know, in the same vein, The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, on Monday confirmed that the 5.2 billion naira presidential yacht provided for in the 2023 supplementary budget was delivered since June of this year. The minister, who made the comment during his first press conference since his assumption of office in Abuja, was however silent on whether the yacht was fully paid for, as there is no record of its appropriation till date. Dr. Bashi, on both stories.
Okay, when you first brought up the story, I drew attention to the fact that it was under the Buhari administration that this yacht was ordered. Okay, some people disagreed and said, oh, it's the Tinubu administration trying to buy it. Now there is clarification. And I also further made the point that under procurement rules, you don't pay for what has not been delivered. Okay, so the procurement, this is part of the problem we have in our Procurement Act. Procurement tends to take a long time, maybe 3 months, sometimes 6 months. Okay, so by June, this yacht had already been delivered because it had been ordered by the Buhari administration. The question now is, it was not in the budget. The payment for it was not in the budget, which is strange. Now they are trying to put it in the supplementary budget. Now, that supplementary budget has a lifespan of about 7 weeks. Why in the supplementary budget? Why not in the budget for 2024? There is a question mark there. The second question, which I think I raised yesterday in my back page column, is to say that under the rules of international trade, once a contract of sale has been signed, the documents have been delivered, delivery has been made. It's even the document that is more important, particularly if it's a CIF, transaction, cost insurance freight transaction, it is called, under laws of international trade. Then you are obliged to pay. So Nigerians may have been, confronted with a fait accompli. So if we don't pay now, since we have taken delivery, can we send it back?
So there's really
to the seller?
No clarification on this. This man on Monday also said that the yacht is under the Navy, also debunked the idea that it's for the president's leisure. He said it's under the Navy, but then also talked about the fact that the 5 billion had been transferred to the student loan. Till date, we have no record of its appropriation. Where is that?
No, look.
Where is the pay? How is that going to work out?
We don't have the details of the contract of sale. It is not impossible that Nigeria will have told the sellers that, okay, we will pay for this at so time because it's not been appropriated. And that was why I was calling for explanations, detailed explanations, because the Nigerian people have the right to know. But the yacht has been delivered. What should we ask for? Should we ask the Nigerian government to just go and sell the yacht and use the money to pay the seller of the yacht? Since Nigerians say they don't want a yacht for the president. Yes. But I also said that before now, we had NNS Yaro, NNS Amaria, which they claimed was used for operational training. But that yacht was decommissioned, I think in 2011 or so. And then the Jonathan administration was approached by the Navy to buy a new yacht, but President Jonathan declined. So if the minister is confirming now that the yacht had been delivered, and Nigerians are saying, we don't even want yacht for operational training, well, they may have to just sell it. I love that. Find a way of selling it and, pay off the
Dr. They should send you a check for consultation. You're always doing that great job. Quickly revise.
So at first, we need to be very careful about international laws of contract because we're already stuck. And if we remember institutional memory, I hope we don't repeat the case or the cases of the cement armada in the 70s, where we had a lot of contract with cement delivery people from around the world. And we defaulted on some of those contracts. And we had court cases from the 70s till 83, 84 that really marred Nigeria's reputation internationally. Concerning the yacht matter, let us have a proper investigation. Let's trigger FOI in the media and even write to them to be able to give us the contract agreement of this yacht in the first place.
Absolutely.
The full amount it costs, probably a pictorial view of the yacht, an assessment of what is going on. Because this has been in news even since 2010, like Dr. Abat said, another Goodluck Jonathan rejected it. And all the approvals has been taken concerning this yacht matter in the first place. Right. Let's have a proper understanding. Then we now merge it with the integrity Nigerians want on this issue. Nigerians cannot afford this.
All right.
To make a decision on it, the earlier the better. But at first, let's even know what's going on. So, because the minister is saying all of this, he didn't say this the first time. He's only saying all of this because of the interview we had here with the Senator Aliu Ndume, that said it's already a fait accompli. And that's why they're not talking.
All right.
So let's trigger FOI, freedom of information, and let's even have a contract agreement. Let's have a step-by-step approach and other papers around this yours conundrum in the first place.
An assignment for Salam.
Yes. Another assignment for Salam. FOI, please sell the yacht. We need the money. We need it added more to the student loans and student grants. Well, all right. We'll take another story. This time in Niger State, where the governor of the state, Umaru Bago, on Monday demanded a payment of 13% derivation fund from the federal government, just like the oil-producing states of the Federation. Well, according to the governor, the state deserves to be paid about 1 trillion naira in compensation for the hydrocarbon exchange being consumed from the state to the Delta region. Well, let's take a listen before we come back for a discussion.
So we are also asking that the federal government looks into the issue of derivation and give us derivation and provision of water supply to the Delta. We need 13% derivation for water supply to the Delta. Our people are ravaged and displaced year in, year out because of the flow of water from the Niger to the Delta. This is very important. Our Nigerians are benefiting from the 4 hydropower dams in Nigeria from Niger State. We don't have derivation from power. They are displaced. So we have 2 options. The first option is to sit on the round table and discuss in Nigeria. The second option is to cut off supply of power through hydro. We must be compensated. Our people have done enough for Nigeria. 75% of FCT has been taken away, cutting away from us. Niger State. No compensation. And everybody is just quiet about it. This is absolutely absurd. Everything that is Niger State must be compensated. We will not tolerate this anymore. We are going to the Supreme Court and we are going to take the federal government to the Supreme Court. Unless, of course, the 13% derivation from our land, from our water, from our air, from our grass, from our everything is given to us.
All right, you know, I thought I wasn't going to laugh, but I mean, this video cracks me up every time I hear it. Please, I guess we might even need more than 13% in Delta State, since he's asking now for air. I mean, we provide air too, and we provide grass as well. I mean, maybe he has some points. I don't know. I'll ask you. But let me read a comment I got from this story. This person says, no wahala then. They can shop the river Niger and live with the resultant floods. Sierra Leone, Guineans, etc. are also entitled to 13% derivation now, Abi, because that's really where the river Niger actually originates from and not from Niger State. Your Ogun governors, maybe they should ask for derivation for air. Dr. Abati.
Anyway, the idea of derivation came about as part of the search for distributive justice in Nigeria, and it's a constitutional matter. Section 162, subsection 2, talks about derivation, and the focus is especially these oil-producing communities that are given 30% derivation. Nigeria depending for the bulk of its foreign exchange earnings and revenue on oil produced by these states. Now, this was a major issue, has been a major issue perennially. In fact, the oil-bearing communities are, in fact, even asking for more than 13%. So, but if you say you give derivation to every state, then that will be stretching the absurdity too far, you know, and violating the principle behind the idea of derivation. Other states get some other things like ecological fund. So now you have the governor of Niger State saying that the Niger State is going to go to the Supreme Court to challenge it. Well, where there are issues in terms of conflict, yes, you can go to the Supreme Court to go and find out so that the Supreme Court can give a proper interpretation of Section 162, sub 2. But people of the Niger Delta, states that are covered by derivation, will consider this laughable, completely laughable. And what is it based on? It says it is Niger State that supplies water and energy to Niger State. Is he aware that the hydropower stations really, have been overtaken by these gas stations? Nigeria depends more on gas, more or less, for supply of electricity. Hydro just constitutes a percentage of it. So if he wants to keep water from the River Niger in Niger State, they will still have electricity in the Niger Delta, in the oil-bearing communities. If he says, we supply them water, don't they have water in the Niger Delta? So that again makes it ridiculous. However, what I find further curious was his point that the oil that is in the Niger Delta flows from Niger State. I mean, where do they get these people from, who get to leadership positions? But I know that there's that dubious argument about geology, about sedimentology. Yeah. There was even a paper at a time, a group of intellectuals from a part of the North wrote a paper and say, in fact, the crude oil in the Niger Delta does not belong to the people of the Niger Delta, because this is crude oil flowing from the north to the south. Okay, they've been looking for oil in parts of the north, in the Gongola Basin, in the Chad Basin. They've not been able to get oil in commercial quantities. So I think the governor is just, resurrecting some old controversial argument.
Yes.
Niger State is not one of the oil-producing communities. It should focus on resources in Niger State and focus on governance in that state. Address the issues of insecurity in that state with the help of the existing security agencies in the country, rather than driving up things that could heat up the polity. As I said, we need to pay attention to our leadership recruitment process, so that we don't have people like Ohaneye distributing tricycle and sewing machine. Maybe she even did better than somebody the other day who was distributing hose and cutlasses. Yeah. Nobody has given us any account for the hose and cutlasses.
Right.
And now you have, this person, saying things he really has no knowledge about.
I know. Well, before I take you, Rufai, I just wanted to highlight the story of this woman. I mean, I saw that on Twitter. She was sweeping the streets in River State. This is in the Impolu section of Port Harcourt. I wanted to call the attention of the governor there, Simfubara, to take a look at this video. This woman is risking her life, sweeping in the dead of the night. This is completely unacceptable. I just thought I should call on to that. Rufai, before we take our
stuff. I think rather than the government making his argument as regards 13% derivation, because if you want to stretch it back too, River Niger takes its source from Futa Jalon in Guinea. So the people of Futa Jalon too can be able to take some part of the revenue. But I think it should focus on the huge landmass of the state. Oji, I wanted to get it right, precisely right. That's why I deliberately put the figures out there. Niger State is 76,336 square kilometers of land. Okay. It is a very, very big landed state. So much that can be done on this land.
Absolutely.
With this amount of land, Niger State can be the hub for agriculture and multi-sectoral hub in the country. I am seeing ideas. Take, for instance, I'm looking at possibility of industrial park on this land. I'm looking at possibilities of, agriculture. I'm looking at possibilities of industries, mining and the likes. I'm looking at possibilities of service industry and sector. I'm looking at possibilities of recreational and tourism industry. He should focus on unlocking all of this. When he unlocks on all of this, he will not be thinking of any 13%.
Right.
It's just 76,336 square meters of land.
All right.
And that's what he's governing, he's playing with.
Fantastic.
That's bigger than some countries.
I wish we had more time, Rufai. I mean, this 13% should go across all the states. This man is taking the government to the Supreme Court of Nigeria if they don't listen to him. I wish we had more time on What's Trending today. Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending. That's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.